You already know who it be on Verse TV. It's your girl, Yuri G.
What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? It's your boy Troy Weeks Music. If you hear my voice, you know what that means. It's time for all the TV right here on Verse. And this week, and this time, and this period, and this moment is something very special, ladies and gentlemen. In the building today, of course, for all the tea interview is someone very special and dear to my heart, especially dear to our hearts here at Verse TV. It's Miss Yuri G.
Everybody.
Just like that. So, for our audience who may not yet know you, maybe it's their first time tuning in, they ain't seen us, they don't know but for our first time audience who may not know where you're from, tell us where you're from, and also what do you love most about your origin story about being where you're from?
Well, I was born in Roxborough, North Carolina. It's a very small town. Everybody's almost related and everybody knows each other. But my parents did not stay there. My dad was in the Air Force. He was a mechanic. Back then they wouldn't let you be a flyer if you had vision problems. My daddy wore glasses, so he was the mechanic for the Air Force. So we traveled all over the place, even as a child. So I spent most of my life, in other parts, not where I was born. But what's beautiful about it is that I got to learn how to make friends very quickly, and so yeah, that's.
Gotcha. Okay, no worries. It's a good story. Don't worry. You thought you was doing different things in different places, but you could be made friends fast because you had to adapt. Got it. So, at what age did you first get involved in photography? Videography. Do you love one more than the other?
I'll just say I got into I got into photography in my 30s. It wasn't until it was like I got tired of not getting the opportunities I felt like I would deserve. And my father told me I should start my own business. There wasn't a lot of things that I could think of doing, that I liked besides designing clothes. So I did some research and I realized that designing t-shirts is a good gateway. So I started designing t-shirts, and I just really didn't know how to market it, I looked at some different things and they was talking about taking pictures or whatever and loading them onto a shirt and printing them on there. And then I started reading about catchphrases, things that'll be catchy that people would want to wear. And then I started finding models and etc. And started trying to promote it, this, that, and the other. But what became expensive was paying photographers. So I ended up just getting tired of paying photographers $300 to $600 just to take pictures and not necessarily getting people to like the pictures or to share it. And so I was like, let me get my own camera and I'm gonna just see what I can do. I went to what is that place called? It sells all the electronics. Best Buy. Went to Best Buy. And luckily the Canon people was there and he explained to me, I knew nothing about cameras. I knew nothing about taking pictures. I knew nothing about lighting. I never took a photography course, anything. I just asked him what was the best camera to catch somebody from the waist up or whatever. He said, it's not about the camera, it's about the lens. And he's like, it's going to be inside, outside. Here, get this lens. I'll see about getting you a discount on it. And it was that. And everything that I learned was from experience and different photographers trying to sabotage me once they saw my progression. So I learned, what everything on the camera was for. And some of it I researched, some of it I just played with the camera and figured it out. But so it was just a self-taught thing. And it was just like I was tired of not having the opportunities that I felt like I deserved because I went to college, got degrees, no criminal background, and people didn't want to pay me no more than $15 an hour.
Gotcha. So you made your own lane, which makes sense. So tell me, give us a few sentences of all the tea of what what made your professional photography videography journey different?
What makes mine different is, my journey wasn't about the love of, photography and things. Like, my journey came from out of necessity. And it wasn't until I played with it that I found a love for it. But photography wasn't like a dream of mine. I liked being in front of the camera, but I didn't know that I would love it as much. And what's made the journey interesting is every opportunity that has come my way was from just being open and networking with people. Like, just being friendly, not knowing who people are, and just being nice. Opportunities has opened up for me.
Mm-hmm. You never know who's who. Definitely it pays to be nice to people. So you're a queen on the runway, of course. Can you tell us what brought you there?
Um, I had got into. I always had a love for runway. Like, I watched America's Next Top Model. I would have my little cousins in the living room, and we would have our fake own America's Next Top Model. All of that. But I never felt like I was a model type. I was always a feminine person. So I was like, the industry is not gonna have me because I'm not this muscular dude. And I was feminine. So, like, I didn't, but I love teaching people and all of that. So it wasn't until I booked this model for a photo shoot, and we were just playing around, and he was like, "Yeah, when you have a runway show," he was like, "book me for that too," because it was a video shoot and a photo shoot that I was doing. He was like, "When you do runway shows, book me for that too." And then so I was like, "Do you know how to walk?" And he was like, "Yeah," and whatever. And he was like, "Do you?" And then so I walked or whatever, and he's like, "Oh my God, you're really, really good." He was like, "I want to introduce you to my family or whatever." And then from there, come to find out his family was a house. It was the House of Ebony. And he took me there. They were having a cookout. He introduced me to everybody. I didn't know that this was an audition. I just thought I was meeting these people. And they was like, "Can you get up and walk for me?" And, I did a walk for them, and they liked it. And it was just from there, I was an Ebony.
Yes. Well, you already answered one of my questions, so I will definitely have that because you told it. Boom, boom, boom. She's the Ebony, ladies and gentlemen. For those who out there who see her walking fiercely and want to know who she's a part of, where she represents, she is Ebony. Thank you for that. And so, when it comes to your shows, do you have a special routine that you do to prepare for your shows?
um, What I do is, for every show they had a description. So, like, I go over the description. I try to get a good understanding of it, and then I might look up different videos on YouTube or whatever, DIYs. I might even watch, like, if it's based off of a TV show, I might watch that TV show so that I can understand the character, so I can bring it to the runway. So that is what I do first, and then I just try to be as creative as I can. And once I hit the venue, I just I chant to myself, like, "You a bad bitch, you a bad bitch, you a bad bitch, you a bad," just because it can be a little intimidating sometimes. People who's been doing this for 10 years, like, standing next to these people that everybody loves, and you competing, like, you automatically like, "Oh, they're gonna choose her because she's a fan favorite. She's been doing this for so long." But sometimes you get lucky and you gag the people. So, like, I just try to remind myself that these people are regular people who just had, these ballroom careers before I started.
Mm-hmm. So if someone wants to get into the ball scene, but they aren't or ready to commit to a house, like how does all this work when it comes to even being involved?
What you can do is, there are people in ballroom everywhere. Um, so you can meet people and they can introduce you to the scene without you joining the scene. So you can come and practice and see what it's about without joining. There's different, like, Kiki Vogue sessions, like practice sessions. Some of the stuff can be found in Facebook groups. So, like, if you just type in Vogue in Facebook groups, like, there's different groups that you can get added into, find out when people are having practices, when people are having auditions, to actually join a house. sometimes like you can just find people on Instagram. If you go to the gay club, most of the people in the gay club that you know are somehow in somewhere involved in ballroom. So if you want to join, just network talk, but don't be in a rush to join the house. Make sure that you get to know what the house rules are, what their house is about, what they represent. Like for me, I don't like to be, this is extracurricular for me. I don't want to be involved in a lot of structure. So I don't want to have a whole, like, tell me all of us are gonna wear Versace outfits to this competition and it's like, oh, y'all want me to have my costume for runway and wear a Versace outfit and pay $40 to get in? Like and then pay $20 a month to be part of the group. Like the House of Ebony, they don't require a lot from you. I like the flexibility and, the ability to just be myself and all of that. That's why I don't see myself going anywhere else.
Got you. And so these next few questions are for the young trans kids out there. When did you realize that you were more than an effeminate man, and that you were a feminine, womanly, beautiful woman?
I always knew it, but because of my family and religion, I was scared to take it on. Like every time my hair grow out, my father would cut it off, because I think he recognized it too. But I knew that it really was a problem when I would look in the mirror. I would be I literally hated everything about my body, even though it was nothing wrong with it. I looked at it and it was like I was upset that my hips didn't sit out. I didn't have the Coca-Cola body. Like I'm sitting in the mirror and like trying to stand to create that curve or whatever. And I was upset that I couldn't get the look that I wanted while taking a picture because I didn't feel attractive without those curves. So I always knew, but I couldn't act on it because of, the family and religion and all those things.
Got you. Okay, so what should someone look for when realizing the truth of themselves, of their own truth? What should they look for?
The first thing is when you look at yourself in the mirror. If you see that a lot of things about yourself that shows your masculinity that you do not enjoy, and you're always trying to find a way to correct it, or you're always trying to hide that. Like I always was trying to hide my penis. Like if there was a print, I was upset. If anybody was looking at it, I was upset. Like I did not allow facial hair to grow on my face. Facial hair didn't grow for me until much later. But as soon as I started getting it, it's like, oh shit. And I started shaving. I hit all those things. As soon as I went from just being a boy to a very, very feminine guy or whatever, and until I had somebody show me how to transition, because I didn't know how to transition. I just knew that I was a woman, but I didn't know anything about name changes or any of that stuff or hormones. Like I grew up sheltered, so I didn't know nothing.
Got you. Well, I'm glad you found it out and figured it out, and someone was there to help you make it through that, because that's not easy. So now you can be that guiding light for someone else,
On Facebook, you can find me. It's Yuri RIA. So just YURI and then RIA. Spanish people is Yuridia. Giselle, like Beyonce's middle name. So if you can Google Beyonce, you'll see her middle name's Giselle as well. And it's Love, which is my real last name. That's my family last name for real. So Yuridia Giselle Love. And then on Instagram, it's bossy_Canon.shooter. It's no secret message. I like Canon cameras. It's a brand. I'm a photographer, videographer. That's just the brand I like. So it's bossy_Canon.shooter.